Hello everyone, how's it going? It's Divonis here from Trip Sitting Podcast, here to inoculate you with some new knowledge, or today in this case, to tell you something about myself. I feel like I run this podcast and it's like, I want it to be mycology based with, hints of like other things in my life and like just lifestyle in general, like music, spirituality, things of that nature, just all overlapping subjects of interest for me, I guess. I did make this podcast, after all, as kind of like my way of just trip sitting myself almost, through this game we call life, through this trip we call life, if you even want to say that. But today, I decided to speak on my biggest musical inspirations and why I see them as my biggest musical inspirations. As a lot of you may or may not know, I actually do make my own music, yes. I go under Divonis, that's my stage name, that's my online persona, and I started making music probably freshman year of college, I want to say. I started on my phone after I watched a Steve Lacy video about him saying that he made a lot of his songs in his iPod. So I decided, you know what, why not give it a try? I was 19 years old at the time, and I've always been listening to music, and I've always wanted to be an artist, but it was one of those things where I was like, I know I like to listen to music, but I didn't really know necessarily if I wanted to make music. And I was in band since like 6th grade, but it's like playing a musical instrument and like making your own like songs that could go on the radio potentially. It's like totally different avenues, and I didn't know if I was ready to conquer that beast or if I even wanted to deal with the hassle. But after I saw that Steve Lacy video, and after realizing that even if I don't have the resources for nice laptop, studio time, stuff like that, I can still, use some creativity and make some songs. So here we are, like 4 years later, I'm still making music. I would say I'm better at making music now. I just need to get better at promoting it as well as, just mixing and stuff like that. But I'm just going to go over, that's just an overview of like, I make music, and music is one of my biggest passions. Besides mushrooms, I would say music is definitely my biggest passion. And so I'm going to go over I'm going to go over my musical inspirations and why. So let's start with number one, which is, it's going to be an odd pick maybe, but I will explain. And it's Michael Jackson. And a lot of people might be like, Michael Jackson, but aren't you like a rapper? I'm like, yeah, well, the term rapper is kind of like loose nowadays, it's like someone may call themselves a rapper, but they can make melodic songs, they can make hard songs, they can make like straight R&B songs. It's like there's a wide myriad of tools that rappers must have nowadays, and most rappers know how to do more than just rap. So I would say I'm a rapper, but I mostly make melodic music. And growing up, I don't know what it was, but I've always just had like a fascination with just Michael Jackson himself, as like not just the persona, but the music creativity of like the way he used his voice, what he said in some of his songs, like Man in the Mirror, and just his overall like presence on the track. It's just like whenever you listen to music nowadays, a lot of the times you listen and you really enjoy the beat, and you'll come back to the song because of how good the beat was. But for Michael Jackson, you always came back to the song because you wanted to hear Michael Jackson. And it's just like, that's just a presence and a type of I guess just attractiveness in your voice that I've always sought after, even to the point where when I was younger I wanted to imitate Michael Jackson and be like him, which there's some very embarrassing videos when I was younger trying to sound like Michael Jackson when he was in the Jackson 5, and when you're trying to sound like someone else, it doesn't usually sound good. I'll just say that. So above that, also, Michael Jackson was an amazing dancer, and I really wanted to be good at dancing at the time, which I still kind of care about dancing, but at the same time, I'm just like, it is what it is. I'd rather just be known as a really good artist in general, rather than just, artist and a dancer, all that. I'll let Chris Brown have that. But it's like, so that's Michael Jackson for me. And I understand, the controversy around the name Michael Jackson, and I wasn't there during any of that situation, so I don't know anything about that. And I like to just say separate the art from the artist. And I know a lot of people would disagree with that, but there's a lot of artists in history that you may adore and not realize how dark their past actually is and how many skeletons they actually have in their closet. So I'd be sparing when I'm casting the first stone. Anyways, the next artist, which probably if you've ever heard any of my songs, it's like the most apparent inspiration, is the late great Juice WRLD. Also R.I.P. Michael Jackson as well, but the late great Juice WRLD. And yeah, I have a decent amount to say about Juice just because of how much he was able to impact me, not only as an artist, but as a person in the short amount of time that he was able to present his music to the world. So I first discovered Juice whenever he when he first dropped the All Girls Are the Same music video on Lyrical Lemonade. I remember the exact day. I remember exactly where I was. I was in my room and I saw the Lyrical Lemonade video drop. I'm like, I've never seen this man before. I listened to the song because like I used to watch Lyrical Lemonade for like people like Famous Dex. I think Pump was popular at the time, things like that. So I was already familiar with Lyrical Lemonade, so I decided to give an artist that they showcased a chance. And when I tell you I listened to that song probably about 6 times back, and I was just like, yo, this is that ish, man. This that good. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like that moment where you discover your favorite food and you have to verify it and you keep eating it, and each time you eat it you're just like, wow, that's it. Yep, that's it. That's how I felt after literally the first time listening to Juice. And after that Lucid Dreams video dropped a few like weeks, months maybe later, that solidified it for me. I was like, nah, this man is a certified hit maker, because his combination of his voice, delivery, amazing. His lyrics. Juice was a strange case because he always talked about drugs, but if you listen to actually what he was saying, it's never in like a glorifying nature. It was almost like a preventative type of tale. You know, him saying, hey, this is me, I'm on these types of narcotics, these medications, whatever you want to call them, and I really do like how I feel when I'm on them, but I know that if I keep taking them, eventually they're going to take me away. And ultimately we know what happened to Juice, but you know, we're here to celebrate Juice, so let me just keep going on the light note and say that yes. And also like I was saying, his lyrics so impactful. I remember also I should say Juice is probably a rare artist where his best music is probably unreleased, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm prominent in the leak community only for Juice, literally because every single leak that I find of Juice is just like amazing. Like I have rarely found a trash Juice song, and it's just, I've listened to probably hundreds, which is just a testament to how just amazing he was as an artist and how prolific he was. He has thousands of songs. That's insane. I probably have made like 400, 500 songs in my life, you know, all from when I started making music on my phone to my first laptop to my MacBook now. So probably like 500 songs. Juice could probably make that in like a month, 2 months, maybe. And that's just a testament to how dedicated and how passionate he was about music. And that's just something that I look at and I'm thinking like, wow, Juice was able to make so many songs in such a short amount of time because he was able to have that drive, that almost Mamba mentality that I gotta keep making songs because this is my revenue stream. But not only my revenue stream, this is my passion. I love doing it, and it's a way for me to vent all my pain, you know? So it's like, it's just such a big inspiration to see that. And I remember one of my biggest dreams when I first started listening to Juice was one day to have a song with him, and it's really sad thinking about now that he's gone that I most likely would never have that opportunity. But you know, at the end of the day, I'm still grateful for everything he was able to provide, you know, the world. And he still is providing through his label. And, you know, like I said, he has thousands of songs. So even though it's speculation that his next album, The Party Never Ends, will be his last album, I'm sure that at some point we'll get more Juice content. So yeah, Juice is a very, very special artist to me. And it's kind of crazy because my whole like time ever like listening to rap music. Like I got into rap music considerably later than probably I should have, considering where I came from. But I digress. My sister used to listen to like Paramore and things like that, and she was the one that put me on music at the time because she was my older sister. Like, where else am I supposed to get music? But eventually, not eventually, but I have a cousin. His name's Daniel, and he like put me onto artists like them Franchise Boys, Lil Wayne, like all the southern classic artists. And obviously Lil Wayne's one of the goats. But that's what got me into rap music. But in the short amount of time that I've been listening to rap music, I just feel like Juice has probably impacted me the most, which is insane because I also used to say that whenever I got deep into rap and I started listening to Kendrick Lamar and I listened to his Good Kid, Mad City, I listened to it straight through, like no skips. One day I decided to just sit down and listen to the whole album, and I just remember being like, that was not an album, that was an experience. And I've never felt that way about music in my entire life. And since that moment, he was my like favorite rapper. But after I started listening to Juice, I just feel like it connects with me more. I'm not, and that's no diss towards Kendrick, but Kendrick is from like Compton, so obviously he has a very hardened lifestyle, and I'm from like a harder part of Houston, but there's no part of Houston that is as bad as Compton. Like it's just not. Maybe like recently with like the changes in like gang culture and stuff like that, but back then, well, whenever Kendrick was alive, I'm pretty sure there was no place in Houston that was comparable to any place in Compton. So yeah, Juice is definitely an important artist to me. And the next person I'm about to say, you guys can probably hear like a lot in the way I do my melodies and stuff like that, but that is none other than Samir Woods, aka I'm sorry, I just had to say his real name, but Lil Uzi Vert. A lot of people don't like Uzi and say that he's kind of like one of the pioneers of like mumble rap, melodic music, all that, and I like lyrical rap, I like melodic rap. I don't like to discriminate. I just always say that there's a time and a place for everything, like whenever I'm at a party, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna put on like a really lyrical song, so people have to listen to like the lyrics and sit down and really analyze the lyrics. I don't want to have to be that guy. I'm gonna turn on some Uzi at a party, bro. But whenever I want to be inspired to like achieve a great feat in life, or like make a podcast, or like get inspired by something like that, I'm gonna turn on some jazz, or I'm gonna turn on some Kendrick and like just listen to their messages. And I keep bringing back Kendrick, but I just remember something about Kendrick, and like something that I really like about Kendrick. He's not on this list because I don't really make music like that, but I still really love Kendrick. But one of the things I really love about Kendrick is that it's just the way he's able to say things that sound really hood, but also in a poetic way. It's just like I don't have an example to the top of my head, which I say I'm a huge Kendrick fan, and that sounds fake as fuck. But when you put on the spot, it's kind of scary. But yeah, the way Kendrick is able to just sound poetic and like make the most gritty of situations sound sophisticated. Just no one can do it like him. But yeah, moving back to Uzi, I don't care what people say about mumble rap and all that. I love Uzi just because he has emotion in his presentation. His beat selection is amazing, and he's always innovating, trying new things. And it may not always sound good, but whenever you're brave enough to at least put yourself out there and try things, I feel like that's worth being committed on. And whenever he succeeds, it sounds like amazing. No one can deny that. Like, no matter if he's not saying anything of value in his songs, quote unquote, you can't deny that it's a vibe and it's a very enjoyable track to listen to. And music should be about how enjoyable the experience is, not just how analytical or how thought-provoking their lyrics are. So that's just my personal opinion. And one of the biggest takeaways from Uzi that I have, I would say, is I guess like his yeah flow and things like that, like the way he extends the ends of his words, like the way I don't really know how to describe it, but it's like almost like whenever you don't have enough words to say, so you just fill in the line with like sounds, but it just sounds good for some reason. I don't know how to describe it, but I know a lot of rap puritans are probably cringing at my comments right now, but it's my podcast, bro. If you don't like it, you can bounce. I still respect you, but I don't want to throw hate on somebody just because they don't follow the status quo. So yeah, that's my Uzi take. Love Uzi, and he's one of my biggest musical inspirations, and I'm so glad that he's still dropping bangers. All right, and my last person I'm gonna put on this list, I put on them just because of their impact on not only where I'm from, Houston, but also just I feel like in scene creating and music in general, and that's none other than Jacques Webster, aka Travis Scott, and Travis needs some introduction. If you're from Houston, or if you've listened to rap music in the past 10, 15 years, you know who Travis Scott is, and everyone knows that when it comes to the production side of music and rap music in general nowadays, there's probably almost no one who's as good at creating worlds with their music as Travis Scott. Not only that, a lot of people talk about his overuse of auto-tune, and I understand, yeah, it's very strong. It's a lot. I will say that it's a lot, but at the same time, whenever you're not given, probably the prettiest product, if you're able to finesse it and embellish things around it to make it work, I'm not gonna hate on a man for getting to his bag, and I don't care. It sounds hard to me. It sounds hard. I don't care. So yeah, but let's getting back to the production. One of my biggest things that I want to do as an artist is evolve just the overall sound of rap. I feel like what's really popular right now is trap music, and I love trap. I make trap music to myself, but I've been trying more recently to kind of I don't know, make my own version of it. I feel like music should be I'm pretty sure everyone agrees, music is you take the old and you create your own thing out of that, and that's, I feel like, what Travis Scott has done perfectly with his music. It's rap music, obviously. He takes inspiration from Memphis rap, obviously, you can tell, Southern rap, it's chopped and screwed, all those inspirations, and it's he took those and turned it into Travis Scott. He has a sound that only he has, and everyone can recognize as him, and that's something that I feel like every artist strives for, and that's something that I definitely strive for a lot. And seeing the amount of effort that he puts in based on what he says in his interviews, his Narwhal interviews, amazing. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's funny. Uzi's as well, Juicy's as well. I really love Juicy's Narwhal. Narwhal just has great interviews. Shout out Narwhal. Hope I get one soon, or ever in my life. But yeah. So I'm pretty sure that a lot of people also look up to Travis Scott in terms of the production side, just because it's really progressive, and I want to be progressive too, but that takes time and skill. 10,000 hours, as Devin Lab would say. Gotta make sure, put in the work, and I've been trying. Sorry, by the way, if the microphone gets different levels every now and then. I've been looking in and out of the mic because I'm just kind of heavy topic, but I think that's pretty good. I'll end it right there and I'm gonna end it on a closing note. If you want to make music, or you love music but you don't think you'll be able to, just try it. Whenever you start, you're gonna suck. No matter, I don't care how much music experience you have in band or traditional settings like that. If you've never taken the time to go to Logic Pro or FL Studio or Ableton or whatever DAW you want to use and recorded a song, mixed the vocals and all that, you're gonna suck, and it's just part of life. And you can spend all your money going to studios, hiring these engineers, hiring these producers and stuff. But at the end of the day, in order to make something that truly sounds like you, I feel like it's almost imperative that you have to make it yourself. And I know that's very daunting, and that's something that I'm really reluctant to even do nowadays, because I produce a lot of my own songs, but I'll hop on someone else's beat too. I don't mind. Please send beats if you make beats. You know the email. But yeah, so don't be afraid to be bad, because being bad is the first step to being good. Thank you to all the artists that I've named in this video. I know that most likely every single one of you, especially Juice and Michael, will never see this video, but I still want to thank you for your contribution to music. and for my musical journey personally as well. And I will continue to improve using your example. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Trip Sitting. I know it's a bit of a weird one because it's not about mushrooms, but like I said, I wanted to diversify the content a little bit. But I hope you enjoyed. This has been your host Divonis, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.